everybody, welcome to the Dollar Vigilante. I have a great guest coming in from the USA, Gus Demos of Perpetual Assets, and going to be a very important episode here. And this is something that I've been telling subscribers about in our newsletter for quite a while, about things like Gus offers, including having a ATM or debit card that's backed by precious metals. And we're going to get into all of that, but I think it's incredibly important as we're going to see a lot of banks close. We're going to see bank bail-ins. We're going to see just general closures, bank holidays coming up. We've seen it, of course, in Greece. We've seen it in Cyprus. It's going to happen all throughout Europe. It's going to happen in the U.S. It's going to happen everywhere in the Western world, in my opinion. We don't know when, but I think to be waiting much longer before getting prepared is being highly risky behavior, in my opinion. We're also going to get into self-directed IRAs. So if you have an IRA and you want to protect it more and get it into things like precious metals, which you can't under a standard IRA, that's another thing that Gus offers at Perpetual Assets. So he has a couple products that I'm a big fan of. Also, Gus is going to be speaking at our upcoming TDV Internationalization and Investment Summit. So if you have questions, or if you want to know more, or if you just want to meet Gus in person, you're wondering where your precious metals are stored, if you have them on your precious metal backed debit card, Gus will be there so he can answer any of your questions. That's coming up on February 18th. He'll also be in Acapulco as well, which is February 19th to 21st. So let's get right into it, Gus. Very important episode, in my opinion, on how to protect your assets, and that's, of course, what you do at Perpetual Assets. So maybe you can just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and about Perpetual Assets.
Absolutely, and great to be with you. Thank you so much for having us on, Jeff, and looking very forward to Acapulco as well. We're very excited. We started our company over 3 years ago now, and both of us, I'm one of the managing partners. My business partner's name is Will. We were both involved in precious metals for a couple of years before that. We're both staunch, Austrian economics. We're both staunch fans of individualism, etc. And about 5 years ago, we stumbled into our flagship product, which you referenced, the LLC IRA, which falls under the umbrella of self-directed IRA. At that point, we're huge fans of not only precious metals, not only Bitcoin, but we're huge fans of minimizing counterparty risk, and we believe, especially when it comes to precious metals, staunchly, and if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So we stumbled upon this product that's been around for over a dozen years, named the LLC IRA. It was started, again, years and years ago. So once we found out this was actually a viable solution for holding metals, and I'm talking about a client actually holding it, under their pillow or in their gun safe or a hole in their backyard with retirement money, with IRA money. Once we found out a solution like that actually existed, we decided to start the entity, because there's so many different precious metals dealers, and it's hard to, and we're one of them, but we definitely wanted to create differentiators between ourselves and all the other dealers out there. So the LLC IRA, not only do we firmly believe in it because it allows you to take possession of the physical metal in your retirement account, but we knew that would also make us different than other dealers out there. So that's how we started. That's the foundation of the company. LLC IRAs, metals, and obviously interviewing people like yourself, like-minded individuals, people in our community, et cetera. So that was our business model at the onset.
That's great. We should let people know that I 100% believe that if you have an IRA in the U.S., you should either just close it down if you can. If you can't close it down, get your assets out of it. If you can't do that, or if you don't want to do that for tax reasons, you should definitely get into some sort of self-directed IRA, so you could have the ability to buy, as Gus pointed out, precious metals and actually have them in your own possession. We also offer at TDV Offshore. You can go to tdvoffshore.com. We offer an internationalized self-directed IRA, which is different than Gus's, just to let you know. So there is options out there. So if you did want to buy foreign real estate, for example, you can do that in your IRA through the TDV Offshore self-directed IRA. But if you are in the U.S. and you want to hold precious metals and you want to have them in your own possession, Gus can offer that. So Gus, why don't you tell us what's involved with that? What is the cost? What is the effort or expense in setting that up?
Yeah, and as you just perfectly pointed out, there are options out there for clients. If a client, the goal is, just like with your programs that you guys offer internationally, the goal is, if you diversify a self-directed IRA to the international side, the piece of, land or holdings is offshore, and it's just safer. You get to diversify and not have all your eggs in the basket. And for our solution, it's very similar. Ultimately, I'll give the synopsis that all retirement accounts, it doesn't matter if it's a 401k, an IRA, a SEP, a symbol, all retirement accounts have to be held at a trustee or administrator. So at a very high level, and from a capital flows perspective, it doesn't matter if it's a program like ours, yours, or anybody else's. What we're doing is we're taking the capital from point A, its current trustee or administrator, and we're sending it to a new trustee or administrator. So from a capital flows perspective, the current trustee administrator is point A, point B is the new trustee and administrator. So my company, Perpetual Assets, never even touches the client's capital. We just facilitate the whole process. Even when the capital, for our solution specifically, even when the capital gets to the new trustee is only holding it for 3 to 5 days. From there, it ultimately gets sent into an LLC business checking account that the client is managing. The client is the manager of the LLC. So our solution allows a client to, as the asset manager for this LLC, the solution allows the client to buy gold and silver and put it under their pillow. It allows the client to buy Bitcoin with their IRA. It allows the client to buy commodities, equities, currencies, whatever they want. I mean, our motto, our slogan is for clients is trust yourself. So we don't tell clients necessarily what to invest in. We just allow them the vehicle to, invest in almost anything they want. So it's very, I'm making it seem more simple than it is. That's what, they're paying us for, to facilitate the whole process. But current trustee administrator to the new trustee administrator, and then ultimately to the LLC business check account. And once it reaches that point, the client can invest in almost anything they want. And we sell metals ourselves, but the client's not even obligated to buy the metals from us. We would certainly love to earn their business, but once the capital gets to the LLC business checking account, the client could pick up the phone or go online and buy from whatever bullion dealer they want. So it's a really flexible solution and as much control as the client can get of their retirement.
That's great. I highly recommend it for people who don't know. I've written about this for years, that, of course, the U.S. government is beyond bankrupt. It's not even close to not being beyond bankrupt. And it's now close to $19 trillion. And as this gets worse, and it will get worse, and I've said this about 2016, that this is going to be a horrible year. And there's already has been, and we're only a few weeks in. It's going to get even much, much worse. It's going to be much worse than 2008, in my opinion. And even if I'm wrong, if it's not this year, it's going to be next year. It's not going to be much more than a year or two before things get really bad. And so as this happens, the U.S. government has already began to look into seizing IRA funds and forcing you into treasury bills, which at this moment in time is paying barely anything at all. It's well below the price of inflation. So you're in effect going to have your money being taken from you slowly at first, and then faster and faster as time goes on, as they inflate more and as they keep interest rates at zero or even go negative as they have in Europe. So by keeping your funds in an IRA, you're just waiting for them to be stolen, essentially, at this moment in time. But there, as Gus pointed out, there is a way to get around that, and that is a self-directed IRA. And not many people know about this. And so it's very, very important. So if you have an IRA, if you know anyone who has an IRA, pass this video along to them, let them know about our work, and make sure, because this is very crucial information. The U.S. government, even in the last, it wasn't this one, but the last one, I believe the last State of the Union by Barack Obama, they mentioned that they're going to start up a government IRA called My IRA, which really means my as in mine, as in Barack Obama's or the government's IRA. And so, so they're moving towards that. So for people out there, a lot of people don't know about this stuff, and that's why it's important to pay attention at this moment in time. So that's one way you can really protect yourself.
And in all fairness, we probably owe Obama a check, because we were never busier than the 60 days after the MIRA announcement. So thank you, Mr. President. Good job. And your point, it's not just people like me and you talking about this. It's become as mainstream as Ron Paul bringing it up, or Jim Rogers, or anyone else. It's the retirement money is the low-hanging fruit for them, because they could just flip a switch and freeze the assets, or force you into a 100-year freedom bond at whatever rate. So yeah, it doesn't matter for client. It's harder for any entity to steal from you if you're talking about an offshore piece of land, in your case, what you guys offer, or if you're talking about having the gold under your pillow, like we offer. So there are options out there to make it a lot more difficult for them to seize wealth. And our greatest struggle is just getting clients to know about it, getting that light bulb to go off, like, oh, I have options, outside of Vanguard or Merrill Lynch or whatever. So the answer is yes, and it's been an amazing product for us. The last 3 years have been great. It's our most popular solution.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point that literally 99% or more of financial advisors that people have won't tell them about this product. And there's a reason for that. And that is because they're not going to make a lot of fees if you decide to move your IRA into a self-directed IRA, buy gold with it, and then store it outside of the typical financial system. So your Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, whoever your broker, even bank financial advisor, none of them are going to tell you about this. And it's not necessarily because they're evil, but they don't get told about these things either, because it comes from the top down. They obviously don't want people to know about these products.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, that's where they make their living. They make their living on flipping you inside and out of the securities that their firm offers. So they'll get the initiative from their CIO, their chief investment officer, and that's the securities they're pushing on clients. So yeah, and that's why we allow clients to buy anything. If you want to buy Bitcoin with your IRA, you can. If you want to buy gold, you can. If you want to you want to invest in Apple stock, you can. So we just try to take the handcuffs off and free that capital up for our clients.
Absolutely. So I highly recommend it. If you want to look into these things, just go to dollarvigilante.com/perpetual assets. We'll have the link down below on YouTube. We get a commission if someone does buy from Gus. We are anarcho-capitalists. We're not ashamed to make a profit from telling people about things we believe in. And I 100% believe everyone should get a self-directed IRA if they have an IRA. I think it's absolutely foolish and insane not to. Now, of course, it is a little complicated, and that's where people like Gus can help, or at TDV Offshore, Paul Seymour, a past TDV guest, can help. And they'll both be at the Dollar Vigilante conference coming up on February 18th, and we'll have a link to that down below as well. So if all this stuff seems a little complicated to you, why not come down to the beach in Acapulco, Mexico on February 18th and hear it straight from people like Gus. So Gus, the other product that I'm actually even more excited about just personally is your or your precious metals backed debit and ATM card. And I actually, if you don't do a lot of business, if you don't have a lot of bank accounts around the world, you might not be aware how hard it is getting to do banking. PayPal even is constantly freezing my accounts. My bank accounts are getting frozen all the time. They want to know where the money is coming from, where it's going, all the typical things. And as I pointed out at the very beginning, banks are going to begin to get worse and worse and worse. They're going to get like Greece and Cyprus, and actually Europe just passed a bank bail-in clause on January 1st. So I think it's incredibly important to get a number of alternative means of payment and also of storing your wealth, but also being able to access it easily. So it's my goal, actually, to have my wallet just full of gold and silver backed debit and ATM cards and Bitcoin cards. And you can also get Bitcoin ATM cards. I'm actually going to have them on the Dollar Vigilante. They're also going to be at the Dollar Vigilante conference coming up, a company called eCoin. So we'll talk about that in the future. But I think it's so important. People in Greece, if they would have had your silver and gold backed debit card when those banks closed in Greece, they would not have had any problems whatsoever. And part of that is because when they closed all the banks, and the banks were closed for months in Greece, and this is going to happen all throughout Europe, it's going to happen in the U.S. The U.S. is just as bad, actually way worse than Greece in terms of finances, and the banking system is just as bad as in Greece. if you would have had that, they actually didn't close the ATMs completely in Greece. They allowed foreigners to continue to use the ATM machine. Now, they don't know who a foreigner is. They just know where the card is issued. So your particular card is based out of the U.S. So as far as they would have been concerned, even if you were a Greek citizen, if you had this card a few months ago and you would have had access to all your money, no problem. And you also would have been holding it in precious metals, which is even better. So you'd have much more secure feeling because a lot of these banks are bankrupt. Forget about things like FDIC, it's bankrupt. All these governments, we'll protect it up to a certain amount. All those systems are bankrupt. They've actually admitted it. So Gus, tell us about your product, which again, I highly recommend that everyone get one.
And thank you. Perfect lead in. And it kills, it's a metals access card. It's a silver or gold backed debit card, and it kills multiple birds with one stone. The point you just brought up is perfect. The fact that not only are you holding your capital, your wealth in one of those two commodities, either gold or silver, but those are also held outside of the banking system. So a common, as much as we love gold and silver and Bitcoin, a common objection or a common issue that gets in the way of holding all those assets at times is the access to liquidity, the access to be able to spend them at merchants, at wherever you're going grocery shopping, wherever you're buying gas, wherever you're conducting transactions.
Yeah, if you drop a gold coin down at Walmart, you'll probably just get funny looks. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is.
Mark Dice does a great thing where people take a Hershey candy bar instead of a 10-ounce silver bar or whatever, so people don't know what the heck it is. And you get the same thing with Bitcoin and gold and silver. So not only do you have the conducting transactions issue, but you also have the issue of being able to, if you need to convert it to the local fiat via ATM machine, you also have that issue, objection for holding all those assets. Well, exactly like you just referenced, there solutions have come into the marketplace, ours included, the debit card, which allows you to be able to actually draw from an ATM machine the local currency with gold and silver backing it, or use the debit card at a local merchant, be it whatever you're buying. As far as the merchant's concerned, you just have it's just a Visa card. So the card works anywhere Visa is accepted. It doesn't matter if you're in Greece at a ATM machine, doesn't matter if you're in Singapore, Hong Kong, wherever, South America, irrelevant. If the ATM accepts Visa cards, if the merchant accepts Visa, the card is fully functional. And the second part of that is that if the banking system ever freezes accounts or assets or whatever, the gold and silver are held at a third-party vault location independent of the banking system. So if one day Visa stopped working and everything shuts down, you would still have your silver in that vault. We could ship it to you on one business day notice. You say, hey, the ATMs are shut down. We're like, your silver is en route. Here's the tracking number.
If the shipping's working, but still, that doesn't matter because it could get that bad, really. But you will still have your assets. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, where do you actually store it and how secure is it?
It's stored in Spokane, Washington, at PBMV, and the gentleman who runs the vault is a gentleman named Dale Olmsted. I think he's been in business now for almost 15 years. We met him through a mutual friend of ours, David Morgan. So David Morgan's the one who introduced us to Dale like 4 or 5 years ago at one of the Silver Summits. So that's how we met Dale. So everything is fully insured at the vault. Everything is audited monthly from a third-party accounting firm. So the accounting firm comes in, audits everything. Everything is fully segregated. And without getting too technical for the listeners, that basically means that not all the silver and gold is dumped into a pile and then audited. Every single account has their own little shelf on there with your name and your account number. So the exact bullion you deposit is the exact bullion that you have there on that shelf. It's not pooled into an allocated account. So yeah, we try to be as transparent as possible and make the clients feel at ease as possible. From a functionality standpoint, you own the bullion. So if you buy, being a fan of the metric system, let's use 100. If you buy 100 ounces of silver, that 100 ounces of silver essentially sits there collecting dust until you actually conduct transactions. So you don't own any fiat. You don't own dollars. You don't own anything. You have that bullion sitting there. As you conduct a transaction, let's say you go buy a pack of gum for $1. You swipe the card, you conduct that transaction, and you have those 100 ounces of silver. That first ounce of silver is then liquidated real time to cover the cost of that transaction. So at that point, you'd have almost two balances. You'd have 99 ounces of silver, and then you'd have the US dollar balance that was required to make change on that 1 ounce minus the pack of bubble gum. And maybe I'm getting a little bit too technical with like the accounting, but it's important that clients actually understand, you know, the technology and what's going on behind the scenes with the software and how it keeps track of everything. So yeah, you own a commodity, and that commodity is liquidated real time as you withdraw cash from the ATM or as you conduct transactions. If you don't conduct any transactions, your silver just sits there and collects dust.
Yeah, this almost seems like such a gift at this moment in time that we have a product like this. And so a lot of these things are new. You know, these things, I didn't hear about any precious metals backed debit cards or, of course, Bitcoin a few years ago. That didn't exist either. Now they all exist at a time when gold and silver are at really low levels. So if you were to take, let's say you had a bank account with $50,000 in it, and you put it over with Perpetual assets, and you bought silver and gold, and you just started, and so nothing would really change in your life. And you just you'd have your Visa card, you'd have your bank machine card. Whenever you need some fiat paper money to pay people, you'd have no problem doing that. But you'd be holding your assets outside of the banking system, which will collapse. And you also are buying into precious metals at an incredibly low level. I can't believe how low silver is right now. And I predict, well, actually, Ed Bugos, our senior analyst at the Dollar Vigilante, is expecting $5,000 an ounce gold in the next few years. I think 2 years. It's currently at around $1,000. And I don't know what his prediction is on silver, but it's around $14 right now. And I can see that easily going well past its $50 highs of 2011. So this is such a no-brainer. I really hope that everyone, and I mean this, and it's not, you know, don't even use our code so I get a small little commission. I don't care about that. I want to see everyone get these products because it will make the world a better place. As these banks collapse, as these systems collapse, as there's problems, if there's enough people who have these things, it won't be a big deal. If everyone in Greece knew about Bitcoin and about debit cards like the silverback debit card, those bank failures would have been gone unnoticed. No one would even care. So that's, you know, this is incredibly, I just can't believe how perfectly this is all working out, really. For people who haven't got into this yet, to get into this now, I can't see any way this is a bad idea, including the IRAs. So, Gus, you're going to be yeah, go ahead.
To your point, yeah, every time crazy entrepreneurs like yourself and ourselves, and, you know, we kind of come up to, you know, solutions to problems caused by, you know, the state, et cetera. So it's, I think 5 years from now, the products that are available, be it through cryptocurrencies or liquidation options or moving capital options, you know, we're not gonna be able to imagine how amazing they're gonna be, because as things get worse and worse and worse, and it becomes more evident to more and more people how rigged the system is and how, you know, how theft has occurred daily, I think entrepreneurs are just gonna stay ahead of it. You know, this is our life, and we have vested interest in it, and, you know, it's our blood and sweat, et cetera. So it's the ingenuity of the free market. It never ceases to amaze me, and I think it's only going to get better and better and better down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should point out with the gold and silver-backed debit card, there is a few other people that do offer that, but most of them did not accept American clients. And this is very normal, as Gus knows, to get a brokerage account or even a bank account outside of the U.S. for Americans is very difficult. It's still possible, but very difficult. And most people won't even accept them as clients, even for things like a gold or silver-backed debit card, but you guys do. So for the Americans out there especially, this is one one of the only options you have to get a card like this. And as I've mentioned, I like to see everyone at our upcoming conference. I'd like to see everyone paying with a gold or silver-backed debit card or a Bitcoin Visa, or just Bitcoin directly as well. That'd be great. But this is a no-brainer. And with the IRAs as well, there's a lot of people who are really concerned about taking their money out of the IRA, will get taxed on it and all that kind of stuff. Well, you don't have to. You can still get it outside of the general system, which will be confiscated or will have major problems or be taxed at an exorbitant rate in the future. You can get your assets outside of that system through a self-directed IRA. So you can get both of those just by going to dollarvigilante.com/perpetual assets, and you can find all the information there. As well, as I mentioned, Gus is going to be at the TDV conference coming up on February 18th, along with Paul Seymour of TDV Offshore, Ed Bugos, who's going to be our next he might already be up on our channel as a guest. So it's going to be, this is incredibly important. And I think a lot of people who are watching this video might look back a year from now, and if they didn't do what we were suggesting here, they might be feeling very, very sad that they did not do that. Gus, I'll let you finish up with any final comments you want to say.
No, your segue was perfect. And clients always feel free can drop us in with the IRAs, the metals card. They're not new. We've been doing them for years now, but there are a lot of moving parts. So we're big fans of clients doing research and due diligence and asking questions. So if you don't understand something we've talked about today here in the interview, just drop us an email, give us a phone call. We'll walk you through the process. We do this 14 hours a day for a living, so I could answer any questions that might come up. Reach out to us with questions. We welcome questions. We welcome people who want to understand either solution more. That's what we're here for. And for all our listeners and clients too, please come out to Anarchapulco. The lineup, the speakers look amazing. We're very, very excited to speak there, to exhibit there. We're looking forward to it. And not to be overly cliche, but Mexico in February is not a bad place to be either. So I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. We're very excited for the show. Yeah, I'm excited about it too. It's going to be great. And we've already got a lot of people registering for it, for both the Anarchapulco and the Dollar Vigilante conference. A lot of people are really excited about it, and we're excited too. So it's going to be a great time, and also very important, especially the Dollar Vigilante conference, in terms of getting your assets really secured before this whole house of cards collapses. For people out there who are watching, if you know anybody really, who has any other assets in the banking system or in an IRA, please share this video. You will not see this information on CNBC. You won't see it on CNN, and there's a reason for that. They don't want people to know that there is options to get their assets outside of the system before it collapses. They want to keep everyone in the casino, everyone in the system until the collapse. And so this could be one of the best gifts you can give someone. Just share this video. You can just share it down below, or just even like the video. That'll help it get spread throughout the internet, and really we can help a lot of people to survive this upcoming financial crisis and collapse in total comfort if they do a lot of the things that we're talking about here. And actually probably profit tremendously as the price of precious metals skyrockets, as this whole system comes crumbling down. So this is a complete no-brainer. So please like, subscribe, share down below, and that's it for the Dollar Vigilante. Stay safe out there.
You have all the major central banks, Japan, UK, Europe, America, all printing staggering amounts of money. The people who are getting that money, Jeff, are very happy, and their friends are very happy.
I believe in 2020 that we will be back into a rip-roaring, snorting bull market.
They may increase interest rates by 0.25% to kind of prove to the world how responsible they are.
Government is always mankind's biggest enemy throughout human history. It always has been. It's what destroyed Rome. It's what every empire has collapsed, and every war and all the billions of people have been killed. It's all due to government. So it is always our enemy.